N12 highway, which saw a truck plough through over 50 cars after its brakes failed, has raised several tough conversations on road safety. Now, some of the important factors being discussed are road safety, accident prevention and legalities of traffic incidents. For further discussion on this issue, we're now joined in studio by the Executive Chairman at IntegriSure, Mr. Arnold van der Linde. Mr. van der Linde, a very good afternoon to you and thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Good afternoon, Alicia.
All right, now Arnold, let's talk about this. It's Transport Month currently in the country. And of course, please, we just want to hear your views. What, in your views, are the most common causes for these fatal crashes in South Africa?
The most common cause for the fatal crashes in South Africa, all accidents, is really fatigue. People drive when they're fatigued. They fall asleep at the wheel. And the second, and at the moment worldwide, in our area the second, but worldwide one of the biggest reasons is texting or looking on your cell phone, because it takes your attention away that split second, and if you then do the calculations, you cannot stop in time in order to prevent an accident. Following distance, and then of course there's a huge list of it.
Yes.
If you're too close to the guy in front of you, you look down to look at a text or a SMS coming in, or trying to find that A and B or C that sits next to one another, and that guy brakes and you're too close to him, you're not going to be able to brake, and then you're into it. Now, if you then drive a truck, like what happened the other day, and it's an over 10-ton truck, and people are standing still and there's 50 or 60 cars in front of you, you just plow into them. Let alone, of course, if there's something wrong with your vehicle.
Arnold, let's talk about, the current road accident statistics. How are they looking so far?
South Africa, very bleak. One of the worst statistics in the world. Although, Alicia, if one thinks that we're worse off than other countries that have very bad roads, we complain about potholes and things like that.
Yes.
But we actually do not have a bad road network.
That's very true.
Our highways are superb highways. They're well kept for.
We're paying for them.
Yeah, we're paying for them. We're tolling them and all of those kind of things. But in South Africa, we see more than 16,000 deaths on the road in a year. Now, if you do that calculation, it's just horrific what it does to the economy. Some people would calculate that and have calculated to say that it's more than 3% of the gross domestic product that's lost. If you look at the people losses and not even looking at vehicle damage and damage to other property. So somebody goes through the whole schooling system, hierarchy, gets trained, become either a driver or somebody in business somewhere that sits there in the traffic and then is killed in a motor car accident. It's a huge loss, 16,000 a year. That's more than 40 a day.
Arnold, let's talk about the important things now. Another horrific crash that happened, of course, in Pinetown late last year raised the issue on who should be held responsible, and that issue really came under the spotlight. So please tell us, what responsibilities should transportation and fleet management be doing or taking to ensure the safety of their vehicles as well as their drivers?
Alicia, that's a very good question, because we find, and if you look at all these accidents, about a year ago, somebody ploughed down there at Constantia Kloof into the emergency section where there's a hospital, and that was a big thing as well. And the first thing that is then reported is, what did the driver do wrong, But eventually, the owner of the company of that vehicle have to stand in for the error that was made in his name or in his company's name.
Absolutely.
That's how the cookie crumbles, and eventually, and we now have seen with watching trials closely how long it takes, but eventually the chickens is going to come home to roost. Because if you have a fleet, you are responsible for what happens with that fleet on the road.
Maintenance, everything.
You've got to maintain it. You've got to make sure that it's insured. And insuring is not that insurance that you've got to take is so that you have the funds, so that you protect yourself should something go wrong, because you can be ruined permanently, your company, if you don't take that kind of insurance. If you drive on the road, South African roads, And from the insurance perspective, because I'm in the insurance industry,
Yes.
in South Africa, only 1 out of every 3 vehicles on the road is insured.
Which is very, very worrying, Arnold.
Terrible.
Very, very worrying. And unfortunately, Arnold, we've so run out of time. I wish we could sit here and go on. But
Alicia,
please,
thanks for having me.
thank you so much for joining us. That was Mr. Arnold van der Linde from IntegriSure, of course, talking to us about transport and safety measures to adhere to when you are, of course, on the road.